today I'll be talking about Inco. So what we're building at Inco is what we call the Universal Confidential Computing Network. So today all the L1, L2s have one thing in common. They're all transparent databases. But we do believe there needs to be a minimum confidentiality necessary for mass adoption. So a couple examples. If we were to onboard billions of people to crypto today, it would actually be social chaos because everyone's bank accounts, payroll system would be completely public. Second, institutions and enterprises are still having a hard time entering the space. They've tried private blockchains in the past, like Hyperledger, RT Corda. It's not quite the same because you don't have into the same level of user base and also liquidity. And then they have compliance rules, trade secrets. And then lastly, there are just a lot of use cases that wouldn't make sense on a transparent database. If you think about the card games, private voting, blind auction and such. So what we're building at Inco is what we call the confidential computing layer, which we believe is the fourth missing layer. So we have folks like Celestia building DA, the DA layer. What Inco really provides here is confidential compute. So with this, we believe this is the next frontier. So just like how Chainlink enable new use cases across different verticals, but most specifically in DeFi, Inco can enable many use cases across gaming, asset management, infrastructure, and also DeFi. You can really think of us just basically enabling these use cases that wouldn't make sense or wouldn't be achievable on top of existing blockchains. And then with this, we think this is a big market because a lot of them do touch payments, real assets, and such. I'm sure you're already familiar with what FHE is, but for folks who is hearing this about the first time, the idea is that you can encrypt data, but also compute on top of it without having to decrypt. And for folks who are not technical, imagine if you're able to encrypt, let's say, a picture, like let's say this cat picture, you're still able to basically manipulate the RGB values without seeing what it is, and then by the time you decrypt, now you have a filter, right? So what makes FHE really stand out compared to legacy solutions that are ZK-based is really the idea of composability. So why is composability important and useful? It's because blockchains are multiplayer systems. You need to be able to interact with each other's states. You need this concept called private state, shared private state. What happens with ZK is you have a different form factor, you have a prover and a verifier, and all the data is typically stored off-chain on the client side. And it's very difficult to compose because you need a centralized prover to do the coordination. But more importantly, ZK cannot do state transition over encrypted data. It has to be over plain text. So there are some information leakage as well. So what Inco is rebuilding is essentially a layer 1 blockchain that provides confidential compute and also separate text storage via consensus to existing blockchains such as Ethereum, L1, L2s. And in terms of decryption network, so we get a lot of questions on this. Essentially, we allow people to also choose which decryption network they want to trust. This is because fundamentally MPC today are very bound by a specific size. It's also very hard to solve some of the problems around collusion and things like that. So we make this piece a lot more modular, allowing people to basically choose the system that they want to trust. So with Inco, you get to basically write FHE code and deploy them on existing blockchains, such as Ethereum, Base, Polygon, Arbitrum. And the idea is we make it that simple for users to basically write code in Solidity. And not only this, you also get to basically interact with the existing user base and TVL on top of these existing blockchains. So Inco is leveraging Eigen layer for basically avoiding some of the cold start problem that typical L1s have. So what is the cold start problem? The cold start problem is that typically layer 1s have lower market caps, so more volatility. And with that, typically the inflation rate is pretty high because you have to give out more inflation rate to compensate for the inventory risk that all the stakers have. So by leveraging a more mature asset class such as Ethereum, we get to basically avoid this problem. And more importantly, we get to have a stronger economic security since day one as well. So Inco is compatible with existing Ethereum tooling. So developers are able to get started very quickly. We hosted a few hackathons already. So within typically 24 hours, 36 hours, people are able to basically build small projects like games or more complex projects that are DeFi based. And this is really because they get to use familiar tooling. So yeah, so we have a Telegram group if you're interested in basically chatting with us to learn more about different possibilities. And also we're also happy always to jam with you, come with your ideas, we'll give you feedback. We also have a list of ideas here. It's a Notion page. So there are ideas across governance, gaming, DeFi. And so yeah, just to sort of like, inspire people to think about what's new, right? What else can you build in the crypto space that doesn't exist before? You can find information on these documentations. We also have an arcade page where you can try out different demos. We also have a Discord group. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. And yeah, thank you.